Oregon and Washington are leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten. That's the headline, but there's so much more to the story than that, right? Like, this is such a weird way of covering an event. You know, because it's a moving target. And I'll give a lot of my brethren in the media a pass if freezing cold takes exposed ends up coming after them that last night it appeared the Pac-12 would find a way to stay together. Right? The marriage of convenience. I don't know, the Big Ten doesn't want to give us the full boat of money, and, you know, I mean, does Arizona really want to leave? It's a long way to West Virginia and Cincinnati and Central Florida, or even to Texas. So what happens? Well, I would say that the Big Ten got leveraged. That's my guess. And leveraged in this particular way, right? You have Oregon and Washington, who probably will struggle to command that full share of $70 million. Now, part of the issue is those TV deals, I've been told, aren't actually finalized, aren't actually signed, sealed, delivered. So remember, you have three different entities, Fox, CBS, and NBC, who carry the Big Ten. And so, again, it's staggered in terms of who has the most Big Ten games, who pays the most money. But essentially, you got to come up with $140 million per year from those three entities in order to get these two teams to equal. I don't know if they're getting to equal, because obviously there's a massive gap between the $70 million and the $20 million with some upside that they were going to make in the Pac-12. But just to guess, and again, it's a guess because I'm like the rest of you. I'm watching this whole thing unfold on Twitter. It feels like the Big Ten got leveraged. You know, you don't want to give us the full thing. We'll just stay in the in the Pac-12 anyway. Right? We'll just stay here, where we make $20 million and there's the chance of growth to 35, 40. We'll just stay here. All right. Well, what if we cut you in on a full share? Or maybe it's not a full share. Maybe it's close to. Maybe it's 3/4 of a share. I'm not sure. But here's where I will give my media brethren a pass on, well, you got the story right, you got the story wrong, etc., etc., etc. The stories change. People change their minds. And you're also getting quotes from the opinion of, not everybody. I mean, I saw some quotes like, man, I'll tell you what, if Arizona leaves the Pac-12, they deserve an Oscar. The Oscar goes to. But part of that was, if Oregon and Washington are staying, we're in. Oregon and Washington are leaving, we're out. We're out. And I don't actually know. Like Arizona, I actually think they'd be Arizona State, Utah be a great fit for the Big 12. But I can see a world in which Arizona wants to be a Southern California school. That's where they draw. That's where they draw from. And if they say, all right, well, what if we added San Diego State and UNLV and gives you a chance to compete in football, where they can't really in the Big 12, and you still remain a basketball powerhouse, and you can still recruit Southern California. Not a crazy thought. The problem with that is, what is the value to the TV market when, you add UNLV and San Diego State, those are not ratings cash cows. But I've been doing this for 20 years, so I've seen all the different Power 5 conference realignment things, right? The Pac-12 screwed it up. They could have ended the Big 12 2 years ago, could have ended them back when the conferences originally expanded in 2012. All it could have ended. They didn't. And now the Pac-12 appears to be on the brink of some form of elimination or combination with one of the other leagues. Maybe they do the Mountain West and they stay out west. Or maybe they do something with the ACC, as we have ACC schools that are suddenly now thinking of leaving. It's also one of those stories where, fans have a tendency to do, I only do college, I only do pro. Have you ever noticed that? I've never really understood that logic. I get that your bandwidth, with college and NBA basketball, there's just so many games. It's really hard, where you lock in on the pro stuff in the offseason, the college stuff early in the season. You watch the pros around Christmas and Valentine's, and then college the rest of the time. And then when college is over, you slide back to the pros. That's how I do it. But there are a lot of people, especially football, who are college or pro, nothing in between. And those people who say they're pro, they say they don't care. That's everybody who says, I don't care about this, is the other one who goes like, yeah, I like it, but, I don't care. I don't care. So, it's the Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. It's so weird, though. The conference thing is so weird. I talked to somebody in the Big 12, and they were like, they're thinking about changing the name of the conference, which makes sense, only does it? Right? Like the Big 10 hasn't had 10 teams in years, and yet always been known by the Big 10. The Big 12 hasn't had 12 teams in years, and yet still known as the Big 12. The Pac-12 switched from the Pac-10 to the Pac-12. They were the only ones that got it right. Now, what do you call that league? What do you call that league? But I remember I was over at the other place back when Texas was going to the Pac-12. We went to sleep. We woke up the next day, and they were staying in the Big 12. And I think Joe Shad had the story right. The difference was things changed because somebody threw more money in the pot. In this case, it was ESPN. Threw a bunch of money at Texas. Gave them the Longhorn Network, and the rest, as they say, is history. So what happened with Oregon and Washington? I'm guessing whatever they wanted money-wise, they got a lot closer to after midnight. When everybody shut off their phones and their computers, it looked like they were going to remain in the Pac-12. Suddenly now they're going to the Big 10. What does that mean? Big 10 offered more money.